Welcome back to the Ways to Flourish podcast, where we discuss how to flourish through our challenges and elevate voices across William & Mary's campus. I'm Calder Sprinkle.
I'm Lindsay Heck.
And I'm Ginny Helmendaller.
And we're back with Season 5 of the Ways to Flourish podcast. Hello, and this is episode 81, moving into the start of year 3 of this ride. What a time it's been. We've got a new team here. Myself, one of your hosts.
I'm Ginny. I'm also one of your hosts, and I also do some behind-the-scenes planning work.
And I'm Calder. I'm the sound engineer.
So we look a little bit different than we have in times past. Odaria and Ben have graduated and moved on, and we are starting this fall semester, wishing them well on their grand adventures. And we're starting a brand new year. Wellness Center will be celebrating its 4th birthday. We just celebrated that milestone, and we're going into our 5th academic year, so it's exciting times.
Lots of I don't know, like it's interesting reflecting back, just since I've been on the podcast since the spring of 2021, so this is like my 4th season going into. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It's nice to have those mile markers, and I think at the start of a new year, it's a wonderful time to just reflect back on the things that you've gone through and experienced and check in with those hopes and goals. And for me, that's really the space that I'm occupying right now. What was that original vision? Checking in with our progress, rechecking, making sure that we are working towards that idea of what the space is supposed to capture. I think we've done a great job with it. The pandemic being, I want to say, behind us. Can we say that yet? Are we out of it officially? Not
Maybe
really.
Never.
No, never. Just shifting. But it's been so interesting how COVID seemed to accelerate growth in some areas and then stunt growth in others. Mm-hmm. But it feels like we're moving into a much smoother rhythm. But what are y'all looking forward to this semester?
Oh, goodness. I don't know. Well, it's been kind of crazy just because I've been here during the summer too, so I've been pretty busy. But going back home for a few weeks, starting a new semester, I think I'm excited. I think that going into my junior year, it's time to like put the pedal to the pedal. Oh no, the pedal to the metal even more than in past years. So ready to get to work and try and just balance, but also maintain some semblance of sanity in my day-to-day.
How about you, Calder?
Yeah, I'm really excited to get back to school and work and other things to some extent in the Williamsburg area. Going into my sophomore year, I feel like I'm a little bit less nervous than I was for freshman year. Now that I kind of know my way around campus, I know some people. And so I'm a little bit less anxious about the prospect of having to kind of form an entire new community. And it's nice to know that I have a community going in. But I'm also still looking to kind of, pare back some of the stuff I was doing. I definitely had way too much going on for the first 2 semesters. So looking forward to finding a new balance and figuring out the things I maybe need to drop that aren't healthy, and maybe finding some new habits or groups to get involved with.
I like the reflection on that. I will say something that is good about the pandemic, sort of, if you spin it a certain way, is that like in past years, since we've kind of been restricted so much, the longer we move away from that, the more things we have to look forward to. Like every semester, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do more things now. I can see more friends. I can like go to more things, and it's always exciting. So I always don't quite know what to expect.
I agree. And I felt like that was my experience this summer. There was always something new. I got out more often than I had in times past. And I remember 4th of July down in Colonial Williamsburg, and it was full of life. Yeah, it was nice, right? And it just felt like this time for the community to come together. And I'm so glad we're getting back to that space. And we've got the class of 2026 coming in, getting started. Freshmen are rolling this way.
And this is a big class, isn't it?
What is the size? That's a great question.
I'm not sure. I've heard that it's a pretty large class, though. I think William & Mary is expanding. And of course, we hear about all of the plans for all of the infrastructure here, and also the Vision 2026, I think it is what President Rowe has talked about.
Yeah.
Well, that's very exciting. Yeah, especially because we will be less restricted. That's just like campus will have people. There will be things going on. I know there was a time last year where I think there is a jazz ensemble. Was it Good Shot, Judy? But they were playing on Sadler Terrace, and there were people dancing, and it was just such a good time. And it just felt like, oh my gosh, we are living life.
The class of 2026 will not know the struggle that we experienced on this campus, the time lost, reconnecting to, or actually redefining the way that we did things. So good things coming your way. So if you had any advice to give to incoming freshmen, especially you, Calder, coming right out of it, and you've had a little more time under your belt with it, Jenny, what do you think really sets someone up who's coming in for their freshman experience? What do you think it really helps to set them up for success on this campus?
I think a lot of it is the willingness to try new things. I know, especially as an introvert, going into orientation was like, oh no, what is going to be happening for the next couple
so
days?
much.
And it's a lot, and I definitely felt that. I wasn't in a super great headspace coming out of orientation, but like it did really help, and I got to meet a bunch of new people, and then the activities fair was wonderful about finding groups of people like-minded, not like-minded, or things that I just had in common with them, and that really helps. And I definitely suggest that like freshmen, you should go to both of like the 2 days of the activity fair, because I met a lot of really cool people there, and even the groups that I didn't end up getting involved with, just being able to like see someone who I recognized across campus and being like, oh, I know them from the activities fair, or seeing them at this table, even if I didn't know or didn't go to their group. It's still nice. It makes the campus feel a lot smaller, and you feel like more at home in a smaller time scale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say, seek out new perspectives and try new things, but also on the flip side, make sure that you're always checking in with yourself, and make sure that you are not doing too much, and that you're not stretching yourself too thin. Because I think if you're always go, 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 and don't give yourself the time to just like chill for a second, evaluate where you are and how you're interacting with yourself and the world around you, then you might end up in a place where you're not really satisfied, and we want you to be happy.
Yeah, taking that time to restore. And it sounds like for Calder, the activities fair was the start of your over-involvement a little bit there. Is that where it all began?
Yeah, definitely. I wish I had actually spent a little bit more time in my dorm with my dorm mates and my hallmates. There's a really, really cool community. I was lucky enough that my hall really stuck together, and we were getting meals with each other even by the end of like second semester during exam season. So that was really, really cool, and I wish I had spent a little bit more time kind of in the dorm interacting with them than going out to a bunch of different activities. And I think you can really take it either way. So that wasn't necessarily a bad thing, and but it is like a trade-off. Like you can either spend more time with your community, kind of that's is created for you in a way as a freshman class by housing, or you can kind of seek out and find your own. But I think it's really good to find a balance between there, because those are the people you're living with, and a lot of them are really, really interesting. It's just kind of about finding the little pockets of people who you mesh with wherever you are.
Yeah, and either way you're building your community, whether that's in your hall or across campus. Like those are still your people. And to be fair, like luckily this campus is not so large that I don't know, everything is community. This whole campus is a community. And yeah, not to be like, oh my gosh, we're one family, because you're not always going to mesh well. But I think it's important to listen to yourself, listen to your intuitions, and find the people that build you up and make you feel good.
I love that. And I also like that piece of hang out in the dorms. It's that perfect blend of getting that restorative time that you were talking about earlier, and then making those strong social connections with a cohort of people that will be floating along with you for the next 3 years. So I think that's wonderful.
What are your goals for the Wellness Center?
So, like I said, I'm really checking back into that original vision. There were a lot of changes over the past couple of years that really made me work differently than I expected. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. But I'm revisiting our approach and what are those elements of service that we want to bring in that provide benefit to the community, and then everything that exists here, how are we continuing to optimize access, continue to make sure we've got systems in place that are just easy for everyone to navigate. So that's a big part of it for me. And some of those benefits that folks have access to, just definitely want to make sure, especially for incoming and new students, you have so many resources available to you in health and wellness. From the start, I think one of the most helpful things to get you started in navigating the resources that you have is through the William & Mary Wellness app. And you can access that through the William & Mary app if you use that now in the health and wellness section, or you can download it separately. And right in the palm of your hand, the whole intention of that is for all that information to be right there, so you can connect with the counseling center, get information about student health. You can also register for our fitness and wellness classes, get your membership activated so you can get connected with mindfulness, meditation classes, art therapy, things like that. Oh, another great thing that we have is Nod. Again, great for everyone. Also, I'll highlight this for our incoming class is the Nod app. It is a resource, a tool that gives you tips for making social connections. It's like a little game. So if you have a hard time coming up with conversation starters or just really exploring different ways to connect with people on a different level, I definitely recommend checking that out, just to help support those social skill sets.
And so I guess while we're talking about resources, we can talk a little bit about what's coming up for the podcast.
Yeah, we have some good conversations coming. We'll be talking with LG, as some of you may know. Lauren Garrett will be talking with us about orientation, which we're still in the phase of, or at this moment in time, we're coming up
About
on
to
that.
start.
Yeah, it's all going to happen. And she's going to have some tips for everyone, how to navigate that successfully and have a great year ahead of you. And then right after that, we will have Suicide Prevention Week. That's an area of focus we've had for quite some time. Lots of ways to get involved with that. And it is Kevin Clancy coming to join us from the Counseling Center. And that's going to be the first week of September.
And then we've got T. Davis talking about this really great integrative program called SOS. So lots of really great things coming up, and we're really excited. And I personally like the idea of getting back to the roots of this podcast and just talking more about things that anyone could take. Like, of course, we love talking about resources on this campus, but also not only how you can use those resources, but like, why would you need them, and like how we can have conversations about those kinds of things, because I think that's important.
And with that, we always have an open door. So anyone who's on campus who has a conversation to share, we're here to lift you up and give you a platform to share your story and connect with our community. So if you're interested in joining us on the Ways to Flourish podcast, you can always email us at wellness@wm.edu. Share your ideas. We would love to be in touch with you to talk through what you have to share.
And then we also have our Instagram at wellnesswm. So reach out to us.
We'll keep podcast updates posted there and all of the happenings that are going on at the Wellness Center and in the Rec Center as well.
All right. Well, we hope that you are excited about this semester. I know we are. And yeah.
Get out there, folks. Have a great year. It's 22-23. Oh my. That happened fast.
Wow. Yeah.
Here we are. So get out there, folks. Enjoy everything that this campus has to offer you. Have a wonderful academic year, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you here. Thank you to our sponsor, United Healthcare, for support of this podcast. Ways to Flourish is produced by Lindsay Heck, Calder Sprinkle, and myself, Jenny Helmendaller.